Hi there. So, the van build right now is a very, very, very exciting time. Everything is now coming together based on the seat coming out. There's a part of me that wants to wait until it's actually out before I really begin the plan because it was so hard to find somebody to do it that it makes me wonder if it's going to happen. um, I know, positive thinking, but I'm going forward planning as if the seat is out. So I was going to wait the 2 weeks and actually see it out and then move forward, but I'm moving forward now. So there's been a lot of planning and thinking and like all these little bits and pieces of things that I've been picking up at thrift stores and visualizing things. And so yesterday, my friend Bob came over to help me. We put everything in the van. We set everything up. You can plan all you want with a measure tape, but to actually get in there and have the pieces in there and actually feel it and be in it and feel it and see if it's what you imagined, um, it was very exciting. So we have a plan. Um, we went to Lowe's and we got some lumber that we needed, and we got some hardware for the cabinets, just all miscellaneous things. We made a list of things we needed. So we got that stuff. Um, we'll probably get started on it in a couple of days. But what I did today was I worked on colors. So I want to pick out colors. Um, and I'm going to just share with you the way that I pick out colors. So I love to pick out like 4 colors. And I don't know that I'm that talented to actually pick out 4 that don't clash or they don't have the right hue, all that kind of decorative stuff. I don't know about that stuff. I don't know what I don't even know what a hue is. But I just know that if there's 2 colors next to each other and they're wrong, they're not like in the same family or something. You can feel it. So I do like to have a color palette that basically I can bring in little bits and pieces of things that I find um, that I enjoy, little pieces or little stickers or whatever that I want to be able to just do anything. But I like to start with some basic colors. So I decided on some fabric for the ceiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy corrugated plastic. So it's going to be a backing for my fabric, and it's going to also be an extra layer of insulation. I'm not going to glue right on the insulation because uh, I don't I don't want glue going on that foil, and it's also has little teeny pinholes in it for some helps moisture from being trapped behind the insulation. So I don't want to clog up those holes with glue. So I'm going to glue the fabric. I'm going to cut pieces of corrugated plastic. There's 3 pieces that go along the ceiling. One, here's the back. 1, 2, 3. The one at the front is the biggest, and then the one in the back is the most narrow. So I'll just cut corrugated plastic. They sell them in 4x8 sheets, just like a sheet of plywood. And um, I'm going to cut them, make templates, make them perfect, cover them with fabric, and then glue the fabric down, turn them over, glue the edges over so the edges are nice and clean, and I'm going to attach them up there with industrial strength Velcro. So I'm going to show you the fabric that I picked. I decided that I wanted a blue because I wanted to be kind of like the sky, but I don't want it to like literally be the sky. Like I looked at fabrics that had like clouds, blue sky with clouds and a sun, and I thought, well, that would be nice. But I decided to go with the blue for the sky, but not a sky. Also, I decided that I wanted a pattern because I want this to be very forgiving as I'm doing this, and it's bending and gluing and all that, and like every little teeny wrinkle and everything would show if it was just a plain color. So I knew I wanted a print. So I decided on this. It's paisley. And what it is, isn't it awesome? Isn't it beautiful? I found it on Amazon. And what they are is they're the insulated drapes. So they have they're thermal insulated drapes. So it's going to be an extra layer of insulation. So I'm going to take this fabric, I'm going to glue it onto the corrugated plastic, and I'm going to attach them to the ceiling. 3 strips. I want the ribs. There's 2 ribs on the ceiling. I want them, they're white, and I want them to be exposed. I don't want them to be covered because I want to use those for magnetic strip lighting. So I want to be able to use magnets on those. So it's going to stop and start. But that's going to be my ceiling. Isn't it so pretty? And that's going to be my sky, my paisley sky. So that's that. And then I went to Lowe's today and I wanted to pick out colors. And I'm going to show you how I do that. So what I do is, if you go into Lowe's, they have these cards with the they show like a room with all different colors. They show you what colors they use, and then they show you how they're used together. So I know that somebody that knows what they're talking about actually put all these colors together. So I know that none of these colors fight with each other. None of them are the wrong hues and all that. There's something about them that make them all go together that only the professionals know about. I don't know about. So I like to go by these cards. So they had about 6 or 7 of these, and I picked them up and I looked at the colors, and then I think, does this make me happy? When I look at this, does it make me smile? Does it make me feel like I could imagine being surrounded by these colors? So I looked at all of them, and this was the last one I looked at, like, because I wasn't crazy about all the ones I was seeing, but this one I liked. So these are the colors that that I could pick from. I could pick all of them if I want, and I could pick one of them. I could pick two. Two even would be good. You know, like I just know that this red and this blue would be okay together because they're on this card, or this with this, or this with this. You know, whatever I picked. So the 4 colors that I picked that are on this card are these colors. Aren't they lovely? So I have like an orange, a red, a blue, and a green. So they're primary colors, but they're not that bright, like playful primary colors. They're just a little muted and they're a little rich. And then I just feel like they go well with this ceiling. I just feel like, even though there's no green in this ceiling, I don't know. I just feel like that blue is almost the exact same blue. So, which is probably why when I put all these colors next to this fabric, it feels good to me. So what am I going to use these paints for? Well, those little cabinets that I bought, I think I'm going to do those blue. I'm not really sure. Um, I'm going to paint those 2 drawers that I had over my cubbies in my last build. The one I keep my supplements in, and one was a junk drawer. I'm going to paint the face of those a different color than the cabinets. I'm going to paint the little table that goes over the Bluetti. So everything's going to get a different color. And then my bed frame will be the 4th color. So what I did was, now this is amazing, okay? Any paint store, I didn't know this until just about 3 years ago. Every paint, you probably all know it, but for anybody that doesn't know this, any paint store you can buy a sample. And it's a little jar about this high, about this wide, a little thing, and you can buy a sample for either $4 or $5. So I got sample, 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 sample. a sample of this, one of these will definitely paint two of those cabinets. Uh, a, a one of the samples of this will definitely paint the bed frame. Um, it's a lot of paint for a sample. It's a lot of paint. Um, I forget how many ounces it is. It's downstairs. These are my colors. I'm very happy with these. So I bought a sample size of each one, and I'm going to get painting. I'm going to get painting on my things. So today I sanded the two cabinets. At Lowe's last night, I got new hardware, new knobs for those cabinets. I also got cabinet door magnets. Um, one would have held it because it's just a teeny little thing. But where it's going to be on the road, I got two for each cabinet. So in two spots in the cabinet, it's going to be magnetized when it closes. So I'm going to take you down to the garage now to show you the plan. I'm going to share the full plan, the plan that's in my head, the plan that's of my dreams. I'm going to show you today. And then as it unfolds, sure, it could change, but I'm pretty stoked about this plan. So come on down to my garage. So here I am in my garage, my favorite place. And I am going to take this cubby into the van and set her up. Now it looks like I can't handle this, but I can. I can. It's heavy as hell, but I can do it. There we go. Getting her done. Getting her done. Okay. So the way that it's going to work out is that in my last build, this was way down here, and I had my Berkey right here on my Berkey stand. That worked out great. But this time I have a different plan. So I want this to come out. So I went as far as the floor, and then when I shut the door, I had space. I have this space right here. So I'm going to take every inch is important. So I'm taking this right to here, right there. That's where it's going to get bolted into the floor. So I get every inch. So that's that. So here is my Bluetti table. Bluetti's going right here. The Bluetti is going to sit right here. I'm not going to take that in because it's 60 pounds and I might hurt myself. The Bluetti goes here. And then on top of here is this cabinet that I got at the thrift store. I actually did put a coat of stain on it just to it just erased all the little scuffs. So this is going to be, I'm not going to put it standing up because it's too tall. I'm going to put it on its side and I'm going to use it like this. So this is going right here. Everything's going to get bolted together. Everything's going to get bolted together. Now, next is these drawers. You might remember these drawers. Now, I told the story in my first van build. These came with a coffee table that I had. So the coffee table was this wood, and underneath the coffee table was a little shelf, and these two things just sat on it. And I took them and put them in my first build, and I'm going to take them and put them in my second build. So one side of these is all scratchy because I sanded it because I'm going to paint. I'm not going to bother painting the whole thing. It's just the fronts that I'm going to show. So these are going right here, and they actually recess right back into the window here. That's all recessed. So the cubby can only go this far because of the wheel well, but I can go this far with this. And you'll see how I'm going to utilize this space as well behind there. So that's going to go here. So we got this 1/2-inch plywood, and with the 1/2-inch plywood, we're going to make a countertop. But just for demonstration's sake, I'll just grab this just for a visual on the how that will be the countertop. The next is my Berkey. Can't go anywhere without my Berkey. Now this is going to go here, but this also has another story of how a creative thing that we thought of for that. So now over here are the little cabinets. Here are the cabinets that I bought at the thrift store for $7 each. I'm going to bring them out both in just for a visual. This is just for a visual. Everything needs to be spruced up and installed and everything. I'm out here at the car getting my cooler. My cooler. Here's my cooler. This is that big, huge cooler that I like to take on my road trips because it holds all my healthy food. So now I'm going to show you how everything is going to come together. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just want to share. These are the samples. These are the sample 7.5 ounces. So here's the blue. They put a little dab on each one. Here's the green, the red, and the orange. So that's plenty of paint for the little projects in here. I'm going to keep that natural wood. I'm going to keep that cabinet natural wood, but I'm going to paint that table. I'm going to paint the front of those drawers. I'm going to paint those little cabinets, and the top of the counter is going to be the peel and stick tile. I don't think it won't be the same. It won't be the black and white. I'll get something different. Okay. We're going to make a countertop. There's going to be a board right here that just brings this just above the drawers. There'll be a counter here, so I can open these and access my things. So the counter will go. I'll make a template that goes right around here, just like that, right around here. That's how deep my countertop is going to be. And then over the counter, these are going over here. Now these are getting painted. I sanded them today. I sanded them. So this is going to go right here. And then this is going to go right here. Ooh. Remember, this is just, I'm doing the best I can to share this. Okay, so if you can imagine this, the counter is going to come out to here. These two they'll be up. There's going to be a spacer in here to bring this one up to here. that, like that. And then there'll be a space, and then there'll be a space between this and the counter. And I'm going to paint these, I think, the blue, and I got some really nice hardware for them, and they'll just open like this and open like this. I am stoked for this. So first got to build the counter, bring this up, bring a board here. So now with the Berkey, the problem with the Berkey is that it needs to be strapped in, and there's really nothing to strap it in. So at the first thing we thought was to build a wall around it here to be able to, put a D-ring on and bungee it. Then my friend Bob had a really, really good idea. He said, if you're willing to sacrifice one of these cubbies, he said, we can cut a circle right here, put the Berkey on this shelf, and have it come out here. So it will come out about right here. The cover will be about right here. And then the circle cutout is what's going to keep it sturdy while we drive. How cool is that? I have to sacrifice the cubby. I guess I gave up coffee for a reason. That was my coffee cubby. So that's going to be really good. And then also, at first I thought, when he said that, I was like, yeah, but what about all this wasted space right here? But actually, what that allows me to do is to put some storage bin on the door, because when the door closes, I wasn't going to be able to do that with this here because the door comes so close. So now that this will be low, I'll be able to put a little shelf up on that, on the door, because there'll be room for it to come in. And then I have all these cubbies here with all the things that I need. So I got all this storage, these two huge drawers of storage, and then these 7 cubbies. And my cooler is now my bench. This is my bench. So I'm going to sit here like this when I cook my food. So what we're going to do over here is, so I don't want too much to come in out here. So these cabinets over here, like I don't want to be sitting here and just be like this close to a cabinet. Don't want to do it. So I want something, if there's anything going to go here, it's going to be something very shallow. But I do want this to be built in. So we were going to get a piece of plywood, and he's going to help build this in, kind of like in a box. It will come up, say, about this high. And what I would like is for the top of it. So the top of it would be like kind of a little shelf that I can just sit things on. And then, but I want that cover to come off to access down in here, and down here. I thought I could even throw dirty laundry just in this little, it will come out about right here, about an inch over the floor. So it's all this space right here, all up here. It will end right at this thing, and it will have a shelf right here and then down here. So we were going to get the plywood, 3/4 inch plywood for that. And we were on our way to Lowe's, and he spotted some pallets, and he said, let's make it with pallets. And I was like, that is so much work. He goes, but it will look so cool. Like, instead of just like a piece of plywood, it will look so cool if we make it out of pallets, because it will have character and charm. And I was like, well, you don't have to tell me about character and charm of old yucky stuff, because I love that. We went through like 3 curbsides full of pallets, and this is the one we found. These are the 2 we found. These are all 2x4s. These are all 2x4s, and those are 2x3s. And then these planks, these are really nice and clean. I think he's looking for a creative project, and I said, if you're up for it, I don't know, that just seems like an awful lot of work. He wants to do it. So I'm really excited. So this is going to be something very interesting going on over here, right over here. So I don't know. I guess the boards will go like this. I don't know, or maybe like that. I don't know. He also talked about I just wanted like this top shelf to just be able to come off or on a hinge or something so I can get down in here. I thought my bags of water, I have those platypus bags that I get take water in, and then I pour them in the Berkey. They 3 bags could fit right here, so I might be able to keep my water storage here. And I thought of like dirty clothes here, and then just this. So this will be all built in with the shelf. He's saying now, well, why don't we just make a cabinet door right here and a cabinet door right here? I don't know. It just seems like so much work, but he wants to do it. I think he's looking for a creative um, outlet, so he can go for it. So what's really awesome about this is that um, I can move it over here if I'm at the beach and I want to sit like this, right? I can move this. Actually, it will be heavy, and right now it's very light because it's empty, but it will be heavy enough that I could use it as a backrest, or I can use it as a little table like this. I'm going to put like little felt on the bottom so that it easily slides on the floor. So I can use it as a little table right here next to me. Also, I can it can get, out of the way anytime I want it out of the way. Another thing that we realized, so if you remember, I'm not a fan of the bungee. So when I'm traveling, I need to have a bungee going across here so these drawers don't slide out. And I need to put a bungee right here so these cubbies stay in place. And then I have a bungee here. So I was going to install the eye hooks to hold these 3 bungees. Then I said, well, we have to bungee this down too because this cooler could go flying. So he was saying like, oh, maybe we can, bungee the handles onto this cabinet that we built. And I was like, yeah. Then I went like this. And I said, that blocks every cubby. Every single cubby is covered with this cooler when I do this. So if I just have an eye hook here and bungee this to this, and an eye hook here and bungee this to this, that takes care of the cooler and all the cubbies. How cool is that? It's so cool. So that's a great thing right there. So now, over here is going to be the Bluetti, and then right here is all storage right here. I'm planning on clothes here, but I might be able to use a couple of cubbies for clothes, and maybe I'll put groceries in here instead. To be determined. Also, the idea of putting some shallow storage here, I only want to do it if I need it. So that's going to be the very, very last thing. I was just the corrugated plastic I was talking about for the ceiling. Okay, so the fabric, that paisley fabric, the fabric is going to go one piece here and one here, and then that whole piece there. So that's going to be all that blue paisley. I'm going to leave these ribs exposed and use them for my lighting. Clean them up a little bit because there's still some of the insulation. The spray foam is still. I need to chip some of that out. And I might do the same here. Corrugated plastic sheet right here, covered with a fabric, Velcroed on, just to pretty the wall. I might not even use it for storage. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'll need it. So now for the big news. Okay, so now I'm all set. I have a place to sit. I have a place to cook. I have my big ass cooler, and I got my power system over there. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in an extension cord with a power strip that has USB ports and plugs, and I'm going to run it from the Bluetti around under the floor, coming up back here, and I'll have the power strip right in the kitchen here. So I can plug in my tea kettle. I can plug in my pressure cooker and things like that. So now what's going on here, the front seat comes out, and from the back of this cubby right to the dashboard is going to be my bed. It's 5'9". So in my previous build, I made my bed 5'6", which is my height. It had to be 5'6" because I was just too tight. Or I wouldn't have been able to get in the door. So I just made it work. I had a bed the exact same length as my body, and it works if you need it to. This one will give me 3 extra inches. So the head of the bed will be right here. So it's going to come right here, 26 inches, which is, let's see, that's 12, and 12 is 24, 26. It's going to come about right to here. It's going to come right next to the Bluetti, like that, and like that. So this here, there's plenty of room for that. There's plenty of room for me to get in and out. There's plenty of room for me to get it right in here to get in. And it's going to go now when the bed goes down into that area. You see, it's going to have to go around some of this plastic here, and it's also going to narrow right here. It's going to narrow a little bit. That's why my feet are going to go here. It was going to be wider up there, a little bit more narrow down here. So now you have to envision all this storage, everything under the bed, all that space under the bed is storage for things. So now you can see what I mean when I say when the seat is gone and I can access under here, I can access that space under the floor that I just recently created by taking that black metal box out. Originally, my plan was to put the Bluetti here and the fridge here, but I like to have that silver insulation over it, and I just don't like the way it looks. I mean, I know it's very functional. It's important to have my freezer running efficiently, but I don't want to look at that tinfoil in my cute little van. So I have a plan where I'm going to put felt bottom at the underneath the underneath the freezer, the little freezer, and so this is going down here. Right here under the bed is going to be my fridge. It's about this big. It's smaller than the width of the bed. Then what I'm going to do when I want to switch my ice out is I'm just going to pull it out and slide it out here, open it, swap my ice, and then push it back in. And if you don't know what I'm talking about my ice transfer and my refrigeration system, go look at my first van tour of this vehicle right when I built it a few months ago. And I explain the way I keep my food cold and keep ice for my cooler. So that's if you're new here. Then I just slide the fridge back in. And again, it will be plugged into the Bluetti, and the cords will go down there and around up here, and then plug into the fridge. So the fridge right there with that seat gone. So what I love about this is that I have headroom. I don't have things infringing on my headspace. The way when I had the cooler up here, it was just a little infringing on my headspace. Also, I really am going to prefer not to sit and cook and eat and do everything on my bed, because I can do it here on this cooler, which is where I'll sit to do my things, and it's just easy to wipe down. The bed was kind of it had always had food on it, and I was always using it as a counter space because I had very, very, very little counter space. But now I'll have all this counter space. That's a lot. It's about 3 feet of counter space, and it will be kind of deep too. So, and I'll have those little cabinets. So that is the van build plan that I've been so excited about. Without that seat coming out, this plan was not going to happen. This was going to go back up here like it was before, which was a brilliant idea. It's just not ideal for me. I was just going to deal with it, put the bed here, and I was just going to go back to really the plan that I had before. That's my van build plan. And I imagine that this is all going to come together within the next 3 weeks. On Monday the 8th, I have the seat removed. I would love to be at that point and just be ready for the bed, and that everything else is done. I got to get these things painted. We've got to get this thing built and the counters built. that stuff takes time. So I'm thinking, maybe in a month's time, everything will be done. It's very exciting. Um, I love it. I already know I love it. And I'll share as much as I go along. I'll share as much as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.